Testing. Doesn't look like you could hear me either. That is weird. That is weird. Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm going to sign off and try to get this fixed. Sorry, guys. Stop stream testing. Oh, doesn't look like you could hear me either. That is weird. You can hear me with the microphone. Nice. That is weird. Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm going to sign off. Okay, I don't need to sign off. We got the mic working. Fixed. Sorry, guys. Okay, so welcome to X1T Gaming, and together we're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. Sorry for that technical issue. I'm still trying to figure out how to use YouTube. Hear me with the microphone. Nice. Yeah, let's just take out my headset right now because I'm hearing me. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Okay, I don't need to sign off. Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to figure out this YouTube game, and I'm also just trying to figure out how to code. And so basically what we're going to be doing is together we're going to be revolutionizing the gaming industry by learning how to code, creating good games, and actually just creating a new I don't know, gaming empire, like a gaming part of the gaming industry. Just a company that makes good quality games. What I found out was that many companies just they're just doing it for the money. They don't care for actual good quality games. All they care about is for us to buy them and make the money. Yeah, and so I want to go and I want to change that. I'm tired of companies creating the same game over and over and over again. Not even changing the name of some of the games, or just changing maybe a number and remaking it. And so I just got tired, and we just keep buying it because there's no other option out there for us. So I've decided that I'm going to be making a new game company, and I don't even know how to code, but we got to start somewhere. So right now we're going to be watching me how to code during this, and we're going to be watching some Unity stuff. So I got the Unity platform right now. I could probably get that for you guys to see if I do this. Okay, I just needed to add the headset to that one too, because probably you guys didn't hear me on that one. So I got the Unity platform right now. Okay, I could probably get that for you guys to see if I do this. Okay, so as you guys see, I got Unity up right now. And yeah, so we're going to be going through a section. They're going to teach us how to do stuff. The headset. So if you guys want to watch with me, I suggest going onto the Unity platform. We're going to be going through the Junior Programmer series. So I watched a couple of videos already, and one of the videos that they've really kind of stress on is you got to watch and then you got to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch, we're going to do. I'm not sure if I could put it on the screen for you guys, so I'm going to just watch it on my secondary screen that you guys can't see. And so follow along with me. You could go to learnunity.com, look for Junior Programmer, and we're going to be going through the first unit. And so we got lesson 1.1 is what we're going to be going to go through. So watch along with me. But while we're live and I'm going to be watching it, you could just look at my beautiful face while I am watching it. If I could find it. So there's the overview. Yeah, so we're going to be doing step 1.1, start your 3D engines. So the whole premise of this is to actually learn how to make a car to drive around and interact with other objects. And that's what we're going to first learn how to code through Unity. The reason why I used Unity is because it is a free platform, and they also focus more on C#. I heard, I could be wrong, I don't know anything about coding, but I heard C# and C++ are the two main ones for the gaming industry. And because of that, I was looking and I heard that C# is a little bit easier for a learning process to learn. So that's why I went to with Unity, because they're using C#, so it should be a little bit easier for me to learn. And yeah, and it's free. So just so you guys know, I don't know how to code. I don't have any money, and I have a 10-year-old PC. Maybe a little bit older now. No, about 10 years. And yeah, so I'm going to need your guys' help to really revolutionize this gaming industry. I won't be able to do it by myself, but I'm going to be doing the best, and all along the way, I'm going to learn how to code. If you know how to code, please, by all means, message me, contact me, get involved in whatever way you want, just so that I could actually like maybe learn. You could help me learn how to do stuff like that. The other thing, yeah, and if you don't know how to code, then please just watch with me and let's learn together. So we're going to be, yeah, so maybe I'll leave it on this, yeah, the computer screen right here. So you can see that we have Unity right now, and all I have is the main camera and the directional lights, which I have nothing to do to see. There's going on the bottom here, I decided to put the camera right here so you guys can't see. Of course, like I can see, it's not the camera thing that's like in this general area. I could see it on my secondary screen, but on my main screen that you guys are seeing, I don't see it. So right now there's really nothing for you to see there except for like add component, which is right in this area. So it should be fine. I think that's going to be the least amount of area that we're going to be doing, because eventually we're going to have to scroll back and forth. And yeah. So let's get started with the first, well, not the first video, but with one of the videos. Start your engine, 3D engine. Yeah, so let's watch and then learn. And then
let's get started creating our very first Unity project. Now remember to watch me before you do this yourself. Now up first, just for some organization, I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop where I'm going to be saving my Create with Code project. So if I right click on the desktop, I'm going to select New and create a new folder. Then I'm going to rename this folder Create with Code Carl D. That way I know that this is where all my projects are going to go. So if I press Enter, now I have a folder on my desktop where I'm going to be saving all of my Create with Code projects. The next thing I'm going to do is create a new empty project called Prototype 1 on the correct version of Unity through Unity Hub.
All crazy.
However, since Unity Hub is changing all the time, we want to make sure you have the most up-to-date instructions. So I'm not going to demonstrate that in the video. Instead, I want you to very carefully follow the instructions below to create your project. So just make sure when this video is over, you follow the instructions below the video to make your project. I'm just going to skip forward when the project is already made.
Okay, so
and here you can see my new Unity project for Prototype 1.
Showing you that you got this new
and you can see here the Unity interface. And now, if this is your first time seeing it, it may be a little intimidating with all of the different windows and buttons. But don't worry, we'll go through it in detail very soon. So for now, this is where I'll stop and let you create your own Unity project. Make sure to follow the steps below to create a folder to save all of your Unity projects.
So basically,
and then create
your
very first Unity project through Unity Hub.
And I called mine Car Learning, simple stuff. They want you to have like a folder that you can pretty much learn from. So let's go mark step as, oops. Oh, I already watched that, marked it as complete. Okay, so now we're going to import assets and open prototype number 1. Now that we have an empty project open, we need to import the assets for prototype number 1 and open the scene. Interesting.
Now that we've created our first Unity project, let's start getting our scene set up by importing the project library. Now remember, watch me before you do this yourself. In order to download our project files to get started, we'll need to use the download link in the instructions below this video. If I click on that link, it will download a zip of the starter files right onto my computer. So let's see where I saved those files. On my desktop, where I created that new Create with Code folder for my projects, you can see here I've already downloaded the project library for Prototype 1. So all I need to do is extract this folder to get the assets I'm going to use for my project. So I'm just going to right click on Prototype 1, extract all, and then it's going to select a location, which in this case is the folder that I'm already working in. So I'm going to extract, and you can see that it extracted pretty quickly. And if I go into this new Prototype 1 direct download folder, you can see here that I have the Prototype 1 starter files, and it's of type Unity package files. So this is what I'm going to use to import into my project to get set up. If I head into Unity, I'm going to go to the Assets button on my menu, go to Import Package, and then Custom Package. Now I need to find that Unity package file that I just extracted. So I'm going to go to that Create with Code folder on my desktop, go down into the Prototype 1 direct download folder, and find the Prototype 1 starter files, select it, and open it. You can see that Unity prompts you with a new window asking you if you want to import all of these different files, and we're going to need all of these for our project, so I'm going to import at the bottom of the window. Now let me show you what Unity just did. So if I get started in Unity, down in the project window down here, you can see that there's an assets folder that has a course library folder and a scenes folder. So the course library folder is what was just added into our project. And if I click into this folder, you can see that there are some additional folders for some of the props and objects that are going to be in our scene when we get started. So for example, I could go to the obstacles folder, and you can see here a list of different obstacles. And you can actually use this little slider at the bottom of the project window if you want to actually see what the models of those objects look like. So now you can see we have all these different props that we can use in our scene, like a rock or a barrier or a traffic cone. Now I'm going to show you what this actually looks like inside of Unity. So if I go back to my assets folder by selecting it on the left-hand side of the project window, I'm going to go into the scenes folder, and inside of my scenes folder, I have a sample scene, which is actually what's currently open right now, which has nothing inside of it. Or I can open up this Prototype 1 scene by double-clicking on it. And now inside of this Prototype 1 scene, you can see that it pops up inside of this scene window here in the center of Unity. And if I just use my mouse while it's hovering over this scene window, right-click and hold, I can actually move the camera that's in the scene view to see around this virtual world that we've created for you. So you can see here we have this long road. We have some of those mountains in the background. We have a pretty cool sky with stars in it. And so this will be the scene that we'll start building our first Unity project in. Now, since this will be our main scene, we actually don't need this sample scene anymore. So I'm just going to right-click on sample scene and then delete it. And delete the selected asset. So now the only thing that's in my Unity project is that Prototype 1 scene. So what you're going to do is download the starter files for the project by using the link in the instructions below this video. And then you're going to extract that zipped folder that we gave you. And you can double check to make sure that inside of that folder are the Prototype 1 starter files. Once you unzipped those starter files, you're going to head back into Unity, go to the Assets button in the top menu,
download all the stuff that they have for you,
go to Import Package, and import a custom package. From there, you're going to find the folder where you extracted those starter files. So in my case, on my Create with Code Carl D folder on my desktop. and you're going to find the Prototype 1 starter files Unity package file. So you're going to select it and then open it. You'll then be prompted with an import window. So in my case, since I already imported these assets, I don't have to worry about it, but you'll see a long list of different files.
Okay, so
and at the bottom right of the window, you're going to click import. And that might take a few minutes. Once you've done that, you can head over to the project window down in the bottom of Unity, select the assets folder, and go into your scenes folder.
Okay, so he's just repeating it twice. So basically, I'm supposed to download this thing, put it under Unity. Okay, so prototype starter files, save this script. Okay, now let's just put this over here for you guys. Okay, so pretty much what we have to do is we got to you download the prototype that they have on the link. I wonder if I could share the link with you guys on the chat actually. Let's see if I can. I just screwed something up. Okay, so we got this. Let's do copy link address. And then see if I can put it in the chat for you guys. Let's go live chat. Oh, I can't add it to the chat for you guys. Sorry about that. I'm still learning how to do this stuff. Okay, so anyways, you guys can go to learnunity.com. Go to the first lesson, and they want you to download this thing, which is in the chats for you. It should be in step 2, import assets. You guys can watch this thing, and then we just go back. I'm pretty sure what he said was
already downloaded the project library for Prototype 1. So all I need to do is extract this folder to get the assets I'm going to use for my project. So I'm just going to right click on Prototype 1, extract all, and then it's going to select a location, which in this case is the folder that I'm already working in. So I'm going to extract, and you can see that it extracted pretty quickly. And if I go into this new Prototype 1 direct download folder, you can see here that I have the Prototype 1 starter files.
So what we'll gotta do is we got to
file. So this is what I'm going to use
double-click
to
on
import
this,
into my project to get set up. If I head into Unity, I'm going to go to the Assets button on my menu.
And yeah, so pretty much that's it for the first one. Too much stuff going on from my computer. Okay, so we go to scenes, open up the prototype 1, and so this is pretty much what we're going to be working with. And so then he said we could delete this because we don't need this one anymore. So in the scenes, look in the assets. I think you could look, there's ground, we got obstacles. You could zoom in on the obstacles to see how they look like. But yeah, so this is pretty much what he wants us to start doing, and that's it. We've completed the first step of the video. Mark's step is complete, or we did number 2. Okay, now we want to add your vehicle to the scene. Okay, so pretty much what I'm thinking is that this whole thing for this one is just a drag and drop. kind of thing. It's not really.
So now that we've added in the starter assets for our project, we're gonna go and add a vehicle into our scene. Make sure to watch me do this before you try it yourself. And just as a heads up, from here on out in these videos, I'll be using an older version of Unity. As you can see, the icons look slightly different, but otherwise everything is gonna work pretty much the same. What I'm gonna do is in the main section of our project window, I'm going to double click on vehicles. And that'll open up that folder, and that'll show us all of the different vehicles that we can use in our scene. I like the red truck over here. I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to left click on that vehicle, drag it into our hierarchy on the left side of Unity. When I let go, you can see that our vehicle has now been added into this large area in the center called our scene view. So all of our assets in our assets folder are what we use to populate our scene with different objects like our trucks.
The video that
if we want to add some cool environmental props, maybe. Different objects that are currently there. So we have our camera, we have a light, we have some environment, and then we have our vehicle that we just added. Now, to really see our vehicle and experience the scene view that allows us to visualize everything that's happening in our game, what you can do is hover over the scene view with your mouse. If you hold the right mouse button, right click, and then you can actually move using the W, A, S, and D keys on your keyboard. So if I press W, I can zoom in. If I press S, I actually fly backwards. If I press A, I fly to the left. If I press D, I fly to the right. So you can use all of these in tandem, and you can actually move your mouse while you're flying around.
And then you put your,
so you can see all around your scene.
Gaming keys, the WASD, you can move around like this.
Now, I have a problem here. I've gotten myself lost. I actually don't know where I am. I can see these nice mountains, though. So, in your hierarchy, if you make sure that your vehicle, your truck is selected, you can see it's highlighted in blue, so you know it's selected. If you want to make sure, on the right side of Unity, you can see in your inspector, this actually shows you what the current...
Yeah, so this is the stuff that we're going to be using. I can always scroll down a little bit. There's not that much that you're missing right here. I could probably get rid of the camera if you guys need. But yeah. Okay. That's weird. Every time I click out of the thing, it just takes me off the camera. Off the video.
I actually fly backwards. If I press A, Now, I have a problem here. I've gotten myself lost. I actually don't know where I am. I can see these nice mountains, though. So, in your hierarchy, if you make sure that your vehicle, your truck is selected, you can see it's highlighted in blue, so you know it's selected. If you want to make sure, on the right side of Unity, you can see in your inspector, this actually shows you what the current object is selected, which is our truck. With my mouse now hovering over our scene view, if I press the F key on our keyboard, this will actually focus or frame back in our object that we have selected in our hierarchy. So that's super helpful. Another thing that we can do if we just want to get a 360-degree view, if we want to see all around this truck, we can actually hold down the Alt key on our keyboard. And then with our left click, if we drag to the left or to the right, we can actually rotate around. And what this is actually doing is it's rotating around the center point of our screen, which in this case is our vehicle, because we use our F key to focus on it. So now we can see all around our truck. And then another helpful thing that we can do is if we press the Alt key down and hold it again, we can actually use our right mouse button. And if we click and drag that, if we go to the left, we actually zoom out. And if we go to the right, we can actually zoom in. So, using all of these different keys, we can navigate around our scene, focus on different objects, and take a look at them.
So pretty much with what he's saying right now, if you right click and then you use your gaming keys, you can move around and stuff like that, see where you are. You can look around as you're clicking right. If you're lost, as long as you're clicking onto this and your mouse is on the screen, you just press the F button and it goes right towards your truck. Now if you hold the Alt button, you could go right click, you could zoom in and out if you'd like, as you're holding Alt, as you move this. And then if you hold the Alt button and then you left click, you'll actually go, because you're already focused on the vehicle and that's where the pinpoint is, you can left click and go around while you're holding Alt. So they're just using as controls, trying to figure out how to move stuff in the game so that it's easier to move. That's not too bad. And then we got some more to the video.
A really helpful keyboard shortcut to know is the undo action. So, for example, with my vehicle selected, if I accidentally moved that vehicle when I was just trying to navigate around the scene, I can press Ctrl-Z or Command-Z, and that will undo my most recent action. This is super helpful to know just in case you ever accidentally move something, or say you adjust something and you don't like the way that it's positioned in your world, you can just undo that to set it back. One thing to note is undo will only undo our most recent action. So, in order to get this vehicle back to where it started, since I actually changed this object 3 different times, I have to use Ctrl-Z or Command-Z 1, 2, 3 times, and it will set it backwards.
If you go like this,
it's very helpful to remember the undo shortcut on your keyboard.
Z 3 times to
get it back. So that way, in case you ever accidentally move something or you just don't like the way that something's positioned, you can just reset it back to what it was before. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab one of your vehicles out of the course library, whichever one you want, left click and drag it into the hierarchy.
So that's it for the video.
And then when your vehicle is added to the scene,
you just click and drag.
Get used to playing around with all of the different ways that you can navigate your scene view. With your mouse cursor hovering over the scene view, if you hold right click down, you can move your camera around as you move your cursor. If you use the different keys like W, A, S, and D, learn how to move around in the world.
What does this look like? Wow.
Make sure you get some practice in also focusing on your object in case you either get lost or you want a better view. So go into your hierarchy on the left, select your vehicle. With your cursor over the scene view,
for that video.
Press the F key on your keyboard so that you can frame or focus in.
We mark as complete. Add an object and reposition it. So yeah, these are very basic drag and drop. Yeah, pedal to the metal. So they have a couple tutorials they'll be go through. Wait, start your 3D engines and add an obstacle to it. Now we've got another 7-minute video. So
we've added a vehicle to our scene. Now the next thing that we need to add is an obstacle. So we're going to choose one and place it in front of the player. Make sure to watch me before you do this yourself. Now down in our project window where we got our vehicles, we're going to make sure that we go to the sidebar, select our course library so that we can see all of the other folders inside of our course library. And then we're going to go to the obstacles folder and double click. And you can see here we have all of these different options that we can select from. I'm going to choose this crate because our truck actually has some boxes on it, so it looks kind of similar. So this time I'm going to left click and drag our crate, but instead of going into the hierarchy, I'm going to drag it directly into our scene view, and you can see that it's actually updating live wherever my mouse is positioned. And in fact, if I drag it closer to the road, it actually snaps directly onto the road. I can even do it with the car. Look, there's a box on the car. So I'm going to release my mouse button now, and you can see our box has been positioned in our scene. Now, in Unity, we actually have coordinates to keep track of where our objects are in the world. So, for example, our truck is actually in the center, the exact center of this virtual world we've created. At 0, 0, 0, you can see that by going and clicking on the truck,
0, 0, 0.
make sure it's selected. On the right side of Unity, you can see the inspector window pop up, and it expands. Underneath the inspector, at the very top of all of the different options, there's our transform. These are called components. So our transform component specifically carries the data around our position, our rotation, and our scale. The rotation and scale we'll get to in a little bit. With our position, you can see that it's set to 0, 0, 0. If I compare that to our crate, by selecting our crate, you can see that the crate information is now in our inspector. Our crate is positioned at 4.8, negative 0.0 on the Y, and then 4.26 on the Z. Handily, you can actually tell all of these different letters from these arrows over here on our box. So, currently we have our Move tool selected. You can actually see which tools we currently have selected in the top left. We'll go through some of the other ones in a bit. With our Move tool, you can see the up arrow. So in fact, if I left click and drag on this green arrow, you can see over on the right side in our inspector, the Y position changes. If I want to undo what I just did, I can use Control or Command Z. You can do the same thing with the X, which in this case is this red arrow. And I'll undo that with Control or Command Z. And with the blue arrow, this is RZ.
Yeah, so basically just telling you that you can go back and forth.
So I'm going to reposition this crate, and I can do this one of two ways.
Wherever you want.
I can either do it by going to the inspector on the right underneath our transform. If I actually select the box, you can see that all of the text is now highlighted. I can actually type in 0. And if I type in 0, you can see that now our box is moved all the way in front of our vehicle. Now, if I were to set all of these to 0, that would take a really long time, and I don't want to do that. So, in our transform, you can actually see all the way on the right side of our component, there's this little gear icon. If you're using a new version of Unity, it will actually be 3 little dots instead of a gear. So if I left-click on the gear icon, you can see that there are different options, and one of the options is Reset Position. So if I left-click that, now our positions are set to 0, 0, 0.
Okay, so basically if I run
and so now what I can do is if I want to move our box now that everything's at 0, now I'm going to do this the easy way, where I can just type in the values in our inspector. So I want this to be a good distance away, and it would be a lot of work to just drag it with our Move tool. So instead, I'm just going to go into the inspector on the right side. In our transform position, I'm going to select the Z text. If I click on it, you can see that now it highlights that text, and I can just type in 25. And it automatically moves my box 25 units away on the Z. And a handy thing to know in Unity is that each individual unit, so if I had a Z of 1, that would actually just be 1 meter. So we actually moved this box 25 meters on the Z position, which moved it in front of our vehicle.
Each unit counts as 1 meter.
Last but not least, I'm going to do some cleanup on my different objects. So my crate, I'm going to rename. So my crate, what I'm going to do is in the hierarchy on the left side, if I right-click on the crate, I can rename. There's a rename option. I left-click that. Now I can type in anything I want. So I'll call this an obstacle for now. And then with our truck or vehicle, if you select the vehicle in the hierarchy, you can actually rename this through the inspector on the right side. If you see at the top, you have the same name that's in the hierarchy on the left. So if I actually click on that text, it highlights all of it. If I type in vehicle and I press enter, now you see in our hierarchy, our truck has been renamed vehicle. So different ways that you can rename your objects.
So we can rename it right.
So what you're going to do is in your project window, select the course library, double click on the obstacles folder, left click and drag one of your obstacles into.
I'm going to call it quits. So that was very, very super basic. So every day I'm going to try to come on, do a little bit at a time. So if you guys want to come on with me, that'll be great. If you want to guys share, get the word out that we're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. That would be great too. You could partner with me that way. But yeah, so until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow.